So hello students. So in the last class we have started about the convolution. Convolution is nothing but mathematical operation in order to find the response or output when your input and system response is given in an LTI system, that is your linear time invariant system. So always remember, convolution is a mathematical operation to find the response of the system, that is the output of the system when you have given two things, that is input and your system response, that is Hn and Xn. And this convolution operation is only valid for linear time invariant system. So if your system is not a linear time invariant system, you cannot apply convolution theorem or convolution process in order to get the output. So always remember, the system must be a LTI system, that is linear time invariant. So and then thereafter I have solved one example in which both Xn and Hn is given in a finite form, and the representation is a sequence representation. In this case also we need to find the convolution where Xn and Hn is given. You can see here Xn and Hn is given, but the representation is quite one is your tabular representation and one is your impulse representation. You can see here this is a collection of sum of impulses. This is a collection of sum of impulses. So whenever this type of question they have given, first you have to write it in the sequence form, then obviously both the signal must be written in the sequence form. After that you have to put the arrow mark, that's where the origin is started, because in the last class we have observed two observations, that if Xn consists L number of samples and Hn consists M number of samples, then the output consists L plus M minus 1 number of samples. That is, if suppose for example Xn consists 4 number of samples, Hn consists 4 number of samples, that is total 8 minus 1, that is 7. That is 7 number of samples must be present in your output. And where the output will start, we have to add the Xn is started at some point, suppose for example N1, Hn is started at some point, that is N2, both you add, that is Xn के जो starting point है और Hn का जो starting point है, दोनों को add करो, वहाँ पे ही आपका output start होगा, ठीक है, N1 plus N2. So let's see, first we have to write it in the since it is in the tabular representation, first of all we have to write it in sequence representation. So thereafter we will solve the problem. So first you can see here Xn is given, so I to write here, you can see here Xn is 1 for n is equal to minus 2, 0, 1, Xn is equal to 2 for n is equal to minus 1, 0 otherwise. That means we can count here 1, 2, 3, 4. That is at 4 position the value is only 1 and 2, Xn value is 1 and 2, but at time minus 2, 0, 1 the value is 1, at time minus 1 the value is 2. So how to write? Here I am writing. So we can see here, so total number of time present 1, 2, 3, 4, hence we have to write. So at minus 2, we can see here the least value is minus 2, so we have to add minus 2, 1, then minus 2, after minus 2 we have minus 1, so at time minus 1 the value is 2, at time 0 the value is 1, and of course you have to put the arrow mark here, at time 1 the value is 1. So this is the representation, sequence representation of this signal. So you can observe here, this is very very important. They will ask you question like this in this form only. So you have to derive the sequence representation from this tabular representation. So you have to see here the least time is minus 2. So at minus 2 the value is 1, at minus 1 the value is 2. Value means amplitude. This is n means your time. Xn represents your amplitude, only n, the small n represents the time axis, that is your x axis, and this value represents amplitude, that is on your y axis. So then here we can see here Hn. So how to write Hn? So you can see here this Hn Del n means the amplitude at 0 is 1, amplitude at 1, del of n minus 1, we have to equate this n minus 1 into equal to 0, that means n is equal to 1, the value is minus 1, at n is equal to 2, the value is 1, at n is equal to 3, the value is again minus 1. So here this is also consists 1, minus 1, then 1, then also minus 1. And we have to put the arrow here because this is your origin and this is a causal signal. Why a causal signal? Because no value is present before time 0. So that's why this is a causal signal. So you can see here your xn is 1, 2, 1, 1 and your hn is 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. So I have to write it once again. Xn is 1, 2, 1, 1 and your Hn is 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. So you can see here both input and system response consist of 4 number of samples. Hence here this is 4 number sample, this is 4 number. Hence from this you can conclude that your output response consists of 7 number of sample. How? L plus m minus 1, that is 4 plus 4 minus 1, that is 7 number of sample. Second thing you have to observe here, the starting point, this xn, the starting n starts at where it starts at n1, suppose n1 is equal to minus 2. This hn starts at n2 which is nothing but 0. So yn starts at minus 2 plus 0 minus 2. So no need to write it in exam directly you form the table and just you have to put the arrow mark and just calculate it in the ROF. So how to calculate? So we have to put like this, you have xn and hn, you can write it interchangeably, here we can write hn, here we can write xn. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, then you have 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. So 1, 2, 1, 1, then we have 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. So multiply this number 1 with all the number here. So 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. Then 2 again, 2, minus 2, 2, minus 2. Then we have 1, minus 1, 1 and then we have minus 1. Then again 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. So just we have formed the table, then we have to divide it in diagonally. So diagonal divide and then we have to write yn. So I am writing here yn. So yn is equal to, the first sample is here, the first sample here, I am writing here. So yn is equal to, the first sample is here, we can observe here 1, then you have 2 minus 1, just we have to add 2 minus 1, that means we have 1, then you have 1 plus 1, 2, minus 2, 0, then you have minus 1 plus 1, cancel out 0, 2 minus 1, 1, then you have minus 1 plus 1, 0, then you have minus 2, 1 minus 1, cancel out, that is 0, then you have minus 1. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 number of sample your output will consist. Then where is the starting point? For the starting point we have to observe here minus 2 plus 0, that means your sequence must start from minus 2. So minus 2, minus 1, 0. So this is the value. So this is how we got the response of the system by using convolution. So in time domain, in order to find the response of the LTI system, you need to find the convolution. So this is one of the method to find the convolution when the tabular method in generally used for finite number of sequence is present. That means finite number of samples present in xn, both xn and hn, then only we can apply this tabular method. So next see another example of finding the convolution. This is very important because this is a infinite duration signal. So you cannot apply the tabular method here. So you have to solve by using your definition or by using graphical method. So by definition I will solve one problem for you. So find the convolution if the impulse response is given, that is hn is equal to half to the power n into un. Un stands for, that means only positive value, that is a causal signal. The moment you see if anything is multiplied with un, that is a causal signal. That means this value exists only when n greater than 0. No value is exist for time negative. Only for positive time this value exists. That's why this is a causal signal. Again, your input is also given as 2 to the power n un. This is also a causal signal. Why? Because it is multiplied with un. The moment you see any signal is multiplied with un, directly you can say that this is a causal signal because the signal is not exist for negative value of time. So what is the definition of convolution? So I have written in the last class, y of n is equal to summation of k is another variable, that is k is equal to minus infinity to infinite, k is equal to minus infinity to infinite, x of k h of n minus k. So you can write like this, x of k h of n minus k. This is the definition. So we have x of n is given. So first of all we have to replace that with a variable k, and n is replaced by n minus k. So let's do that. So summation of k is equal to minus infinite to infinite, x of k, that means in place of n we have to replace n with k. So we can write that directly, 2 to the power k u of k, 2 to the power k u of k, and then you can write here this as half to the power n minus k into u of n minus k. So you can directly see that half to the power n minus k into u of n minus k into u of n minus k. So first of all we have to see here, this is uk and u of n minus k, both are multiplied, everything is multiplied, and we are taking the summation from k is equal to minus infinity to infinity. So first of all you have to define this u of k and u of n minus k. You all know u of k exists, that is 1 only for k greater than equal to 0. Similarly, u of n minus k is equal to 1 only when k n minus k must be greater than equal to 0. That means n must be greater than k, or we can write like this, k less than equal to n. K is less than equal to n and k. So you can see here, when these two things are multiplied, that means we have to take the common value. One thing is saying k is greater than equal to 0, and another we can see here, I can plot like this, k is equal to, suppose this is 0 and suppose this value is 0 and this value is n. So in first condition this is saying k greater than equal to 0, so k greater than equal to 0 and k less than equal to n, k less than equal to n. That means the common is from 0 to n, that means k is varying from 0 to n. You can just like that, you have to define and then you have to take the common, because this is a product. So product you have to take the, in order to exist the product you have to take the common range, you have to take the common range. So common range is here, summation of k is equal to 0 to n, summation of k is equal to 0 to n, then you can write 2 to the power k into half to the power n minus k, 2 to the power k into half to the power n minus k. So this is the range where exists, that is from k is equal to 0 to n, 2 to the power k half to the power n minus k. How I find this range is changing from minus to infinity? Instead of writing that, we have to write k is equal to 0 to n, just we have to define uk and u of n minus k. So uk exists when k greater than equal to 0, u of n minus k exists when k less than equal to 1. So you have to take the common, that is from, you have to just take the range, that is 0, k greater than equal to 0, you have to put the arrow mark, k less than n. So the common value exists from k is equal to 0 to n, k is equal to 0 to n. So now this is k is equal to 0 to n, 2 to the power k. So here the k is the variable, not this n, k is the variable. So k is varying from 0, and k, the lowest limit of k is 0 and the highest limit of k is n. The lowest limit is 0, the highest limit is n. So here we can see here, this is this, so once again I have to write this. Summation of k is equal to 0 to n, then we can write like this, 2 to the power k into 2 to the power, half to the power n minus k. So then we have to write like this, summation of, we can see here, this is k is varying from 0 to k is equal to n. So we can see here half to the power n, this can be written as k is equal to 0 to n, 2 to the power k. This can be written as half to the power n into half to the power minus k. Half to the power minus k means 2 to the power k, that can be written as 2 to the power k. So again we can say, see this n is a constant because the summation is varying from k is equal to 0 to n, that means this half to the power n is a constant. So you have to take that common, to take that to outside, just like your integration. Suppose you are performing integration with respect to x, then suppose a is a variable is present there, but your integration depending on only the variable, that is x, that's why you take the a as a common. So just like that, in case of the summation, your summation is varying from k is equal to 0 to k is equal to n, that's why I have to take this half to the power n to outside of the summation. Then how to write this? This can be written as half to the power n summation of k is equal to 0 to n, then again this is 2 to the power k into 2 to the power k. How 2 to the power k? Because half to the power minus k, this can be written as 1 by 2 can be written as 2 to the power minus 1, and 2 to the power minus 1 multiplied with to the power minus k. This can be written as 2 to the power minus 1. This minus 1 and minus k is multiplied, just like you have, you know the formula in power, a to the power m whole to the power n means a to the power m into n. So you can see here, this can be written as half to the power n summation of k is equal to 0 to n 2 to the power 2k, 2 to the power 2k, because this power, because the base is same, hence the power got added, that is 2 to the power 2k. So that is equal to half to the power n. This summation we have to now open. So when we put k is equal to 0, this value 2 to the power 0, that means 1, then we have 2 plus 2, why? Because k is equal to 1, 2 square, that is 4, 2 square, 1 plus 2 square, plus then 2 to the power 4, then 2 to the power 6, like that, up to 2 to the power 2n, like that, up to 2 to the power 2n. So obviously this is starting from 1, we can write like 2 to the power 0. So this is starting from 0 to 2n, that means we have n plus 1 number of terms. So this is a series of GP. Why GP? Because you can see here the common ratio R. Just take common ratio, you have to, we will find R value is 2 square, that is 2 to the, you have to divide like this, 2 to the power 0 divided by 1, 2 to the power 4 divided by 2 square. So the common ratio is 2 square and the first term here is 1. The first term here is 1 and this series consists of n plus 1 number of terms. So how to write this? This is a GP series and the common ratio, remember common ratio is 2 square and the first term is 1. And you all know, if a series is given, in infinite series is given, that is a finite series consists of n plus 1 number of terms, then the series, the formula will be a whole into r to the power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by r minus 1. So this is the formula if your series consists of n plus 1 number of terms in a GP. So the first term here is, you can see here the first term is 1. So before that I have to multiply half to the power n. So this is the formula. This is the formula you have to put like this. If the series is in GP and consists of n number of terms, so half to the power n so you can write there like this, half to the power n, then r to the power n plus 1. So r to the power n plus 1 means you have like 2 square, so 2 square whole to the power n plus 1, that is 2n plus 2, that is 2, in place of r you have to put like r square means 2, so 2 square whole to the power n plus 1. So just like that I have multiplied directly, 2 square whole to the power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by 2 square minus 1. So now we can solve this. So this is equal to half to the power n, which is half to the power n into, this can be written as 2 to the power 2n plus 2 minus 1 divided by 2 square is 4, 4 minus 1, that is equal to 3. So this is the response of the system yn. This is the response of the system yn. So this is how we have to calculate if the series is infinite series and consists of un. So the moment you see that, you have to apply the definition. So in the definition you just put in place of n uk and u of n minus k, replace that and define where this uk and u of n minus k exist. Always uk and u n minus k varying from k is equal to 0 to n, directly you can write. Then opening the summation and applying the geometry progression, we have studied two formula. If the series is infinite, then the formula is a by 1 minus r, where r must be less than 1, and if the series is finite, that is consists of n plus 1 number of terms, then the series formula is a whole into r to the power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by r minus 1. Here I write n plus 1, why? Because the series consists of, series is starting from 1 to n, that means 2 to the power 0 to n, that means it consists of n plus 1 number of terms. If the series is starting from 1 2 to the power 1 for example, then the series consists only n number of terms. In that case we will write here only n. ठीक है, ये रिप्रेजेंट करता है n plus 1 रिप्रेजेंट करता है how many number of terms present in your series. Then r is the common ratio, you all know, and a is the first term of that series, and this is a finite series in GP. For infinite series I can write a to the a by 1 minus r. We have already studied that. So next we will see so before we start the next chapter, that is your properties of convolution, first you have two homework question I have given here. In the first question we have a finite number of sequence, you can see here, that is consists of only 3 number of samples. Both xn and hn is same, that is 1 2 minus 1, that is xn is 1 to minus 1 and Hn is also 1 to minus 1, and you need to find the convolution. That is obviously here the moment you see finite number of sequence, you can apply your tabular method. Then we have xn is equal to un and hn is equal to 5 multiplied with minus half to the power n un. So you have to perform convolution in both the case and find the response of the system, that is yn. You have to find, that is by using your convolution method you have to calculate the response of the system. So this is the homework question. So try to solve at your home, and if at all any doubt arises, you can ask. So the properties of convolution, just like your multiplication, this convolution also it is also a mathematical operation, and it also obeys these three laws: commutative law and associative law and the distributive law. So the commutative law, just like in your multiplication, a into b is nothing but b into a. If you multiply a number with a, suppose 2 into 3 is always equal to 3 into 2. Just like that, the convolution also obey the commutative law, that is xn convolution with hn, that is equal to hn convolution with xn. Just we have in problem solving, I have already told you, you can write hn and xn alternatively. We can write that h of k, x of n minus k, or we can in tabular method we can write hn in the column, and in the row, sorry, in the row you can write hn, and in the column you can write xn. So alternatively you can write. This is also obey associative law. So associative law is only helpful when you have two number of system connected in series or parallel. So suppose you have two system and each system having response h1n and h2n respectively. So if you convolve first x1 with the first system, xn convolution with hn, and in order to get the response, the whole convolution with h2n, that must be equal to xn convolution with h1n and convolution with h2n. You can see here, this is your associative law. So xn, first you perform xn convolution with h1n, then convolve with h2n, must be equal to, first you have to perform here h1n and h2n convolution, convolved with xn, the result will be same. The convolution property also obey the distributive law. So this law states that xn convolution with h1n and h2n must be equal to h1n plus h2n must be equal to xn convolution with h1n plus xn convolution with h2n. Just like your multiplication, suppose 2 into 3 plus 2, so 3 plus 2 directly add then multiply, or we can convolve this xn convolution with h1n plus xn convolution with h2n. So this convolution obey all the three law, that is commutative, associative and distributive law. So thank you. Next class we will study about interconnection of the system, and suppose you have two system that is in the series or in parallel. So how to find the response of the whole system, that we will see in the next class. So thank you.